Welcome to the new era of Totem Pole Nation. Don't always forget, I am back. Individual show of Lambo's World of Sports. There is a reasoning behind this, and I'm not going to say what. But all I am going to say is that I'm here. I didn't quit. When things got tough, you still keep going. By the way, today's episode will be who will be the Broncos starting quarterback in 2024. Oh, man. We got a lot of answers. Chargers play in the AFC West, the most toughest division, one of the most toughest divisions in the NFL. You got the Chiefs in there. The Raiders are upcoming and physical. And, of course, you got Jim Harbaugh and those Chargers. And I think those Chargers will look pretty scary. Now, I know I was probably, just saying some stuff, and I really thought that the Chargers may make the AFC Championship game, but we're going to have to, wait and see about that. But don't forget, go to autograph.io, right? Download it on Google Play or the Apple Store, and I promise you, our content, the best content in America, will be on there without any further ado, without any excuses. We are here to bring you the fast and most entertaining content. Now, who is the Denver Broncos starting quarterback? Well, you drafted Bo Nix at the 12th pick overall. You also got to trade in with Zach Wilson. You got to trade in with Zach Wilson. And not only that, but you still have Jared Stidham, a former New England Patriot. Yes, infield insights. Thank you for tuning in to Totem Pole Nation because we are bigger and better. Now, these quarterbacks have played in different systems, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let me just go back. Let's go back to when Mike Shanahan, ladies and gentlemen, when was the head coach? Now, if you look back at it, the Denver Broncos was consistent. They won back-to-back Super Bowls in the 97-98 season. Of course, you got John Elway at quarterback. You got a Hall of Famer tight end, Shannon Sharp. You got Terrell Davis. You got a roster. Ever since then, the Denver Broncos have been okay. Now, I know they've been about 16 years without winning a Super Bowl. Shanahan was let go in 2008. Josh McDaniels for 2 years was fired. You had John Fox, who took you to two Super Bowls, one Super Bowl. You lost one, and then it wasn't good enough once you lost the divisional round and the Super Bowl, especially that blowout loss against the Seattle Seahawks. Gary Kubiak won your Super Bowl in the first year, but that was John Fox's team, whatever you want to call it. Paid managed last year. Gary Kubiak had some heart problems the next year, and then they were 9-7. Ladies and gentlemen, the Denver Broncos have not been to the playoffs since Peyton Manning retired. And y'all think it's that easy to replace a quarterback. It is not easy. You've been through a lot of quarterbacks in Denver. Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler, it's a lot. It's a lot. And some of them don't even deserve to be there. Now, it's not their fault, but it just comes down to coaching, man. It comes down to finding that right coach. Now they got Vance Joseph, 5-11 record, 6-10 in 2017 and 2018. Was let go. Vic Fangio, one of the great defensive minds, was hired in 2019, fired in 2021. His seasons of 2019 to 2021 were 7-9, 5-11, and 7-10. Not good enough. Nathaniel Hackett, when they signed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson left the Seattle Seahawks. And let's go to Denver. Let's ride. Let's ride. One of the worst seasons of all time. Nathaniel Hackett is not ready to be a head coach. He only got the job of being a head coach because of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think Matt LaFleur is a way better coach Look what he's doing without Aaron Rodgers, with Jordan Love. Now, I'm not going to say Jordan Love is a Hall of Famer. Different conversation for later. You hired Sean Payton, who just left the Saints, retired for a year, and came back. Ladies and gentlemen, the Denver Broncos were 8-9. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the Denver Broncos started off 0-3, 1-5, and all this other stuff, but they had a chance to make the playoffs. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson just didn't fit. You knew that won't go fit. Sean Payton is trying to run the Drew Brees offense. Do you think Russell Wilson is Drew Brees? No. Their receivers were hurt. There's a lot of things that are going on. Sean Payton's into his second year. I know Sean Payton has had a couple of mediocre seasons with the Saints, but there was a couple of those seasons that went 7-9. Let's be honest about the Broncos here. Sean Payton's on the hot seat. You're getting paid $20+ million. You got a new GM. You're building, I think, a new stadium at some point in time. You're building a lot of things. You got to revamp the quarterback position, and you did trade one of your wide receivers, I think, to the Cleveland Browns, if I'm correct. It's who's going to start? Well, normally I have the answers to everything on the test, but I don't have the answers. Not this time. I don't have it. Here's why I don't have the answers. You have 3 of these quarterbacks. One of them just came out of college that played for literally, 6 years at Oregon? I mean, excuse me, like 4 at Oregon, 2 at Auburn. What is up, CR7? Thank you for tuning in to Lambos World of Sports. You got Zach Wilson, who's been with the Jets, played in multiple systems, was fired as offensive coordinators. And, of course, you got Jared Stidham, who has been in 2 systems. So, Sean Payton said it in the press conference. There's a lot of people, between those 3 quarterbacks, they played in different systems. So, at the end of the day, it just comes down to who is going to, get into the system and feel it right and be correct and all those things like that. Much appreciated. But I'm going to let this play out. I think Bo Nix is great. With the 12th overall pick, you don't want to throw him out there into the fire because once he doesn't do good, you want to boo him out. Kind of the same thing in the whole Auburn situation where, Auburn wasn't as good. He went out and then was actually better at the University of Oregon. This is the NFL. It is a different level of football. Broncos were 8-9 last year with Sean Payton. Second year, you get rid of Russell Wilson. You don't pay that man $40 million. So he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You get rid of some wide receivers as well. You no longer have Jerry Jeudy. And as far as your roster is right now, how does your quarterback play look? The quarterback play is not as easy as it once was. So my thoughts on this quarterback situation. Love the new studio. Oh, yeah, Streak, we're working on it. We are going to work on it, and we're going to get better. My thoughts on the quarterback situation right here. Zach Wilson added to the room. The Broncos will have 3 quarterbacks. There's really no answer to quarterback. Zach Wilson gives somewhat of insurance if, they already drafted a quarterback at number 12. Stidham and Wilson will be fighting, but that's false information because y'all don't understand, or some of you media guys don't understand anything. All 3 of these quarterbacks will be competing for the job. Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, and Zach Wilson. This is going to be tough. We'll figure out. The running back position needs some fix. Now, right now, they have Javonte Williams, Samari P-Rod, Jaleel McCollin, and Tyler Batty. Wide receiver, Cortland Sutton is still involved in some trade rumors. They still got depth on the roster. They got Marvin Mims Jr. and they got Josh Reynolds as well. But when it comes to the Broncos draft, I think they drafted pretty well when it comes to this Broncos draft. There's a lot of things that they need, to, piece together. And we'll figure out on the field if they answered their questions at certain positions. Bo Nix in the first round to pick. They didn't have a pick until the third round. Outside linebacker Jonah Ellis out of Utah, I think is a great pick. Troy Franklin out of Oregon, that replaces Jerry Jeudy's speed. They're both teammates. Bo Nix and Troy Franklin were teammates. That could be something. Chris Abrams Drain out of Missouri, that is a great pick. Audric Estime. Now I know I talked about that running back problems. Ladies and gentlemen, Audric Estime out of Notre Dame was great. A big physical back. Sean Payton, if he wants to run the ball, that's a big physical back. Now, running backs in the the fifth round, he was number 147 overall pick. Don't normally make the roster. But I think he can help elevate the team because this is a tough AFC West. If I'm looking at the AFC West between the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos, as of right now, they're going to be last. Chiefs going to be number 1, Super Bowl champions. Raiders going to be number 3 because I don't think Gardner Minshew is better than Justin Herbert and Aiden O'Connell. Chargers going to be number 2 because of Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh knows how to coach. 7th round pick. They got 2 7th round picks. They got a guard out of South Carolina that helps them block for either quarterback because the run game wasn't so great. And also drafted Devon Vele out of Utah. So at the end of the day, I think I rate this draft a B+. But we'll see how the Broncos do in this tough division. And if you want to look at the Broncos' schedule, let's figure this out. The schedule already came out. Let's figure this out. All right. First game of the year. What did they play? The Seattle Seahawks. At Seattle, Sam Howell, Geno Smith. This is an L. They played the Steelers at home. Well, how good is Russell Wilson or Justin Fields going to be in Pittsburgh? That is going to be a W just because Steelers offensively have changed, and we got to see how good that offensive line can be tested. The Steelers have a great defense. That's 1-1. The Broncos play the Bucs. That's a loss. The Buccaneers, Mike Evans, they still got weapons. The run game wasn't great. Now I know the Buccaneers did lose the offensive coordinator as the head coach of the Panthers, but give me an L, 1-2. Broncos versus Jets. You ain't beating Aaron Rodgers. That's 1-3. Raiders and Broncos. This could go either way. I like Antonio Pierce as the head coach. But it comes down to who's starting quarterback at that point, and I don't know. I'll take the Broncos at home. What is that, 2-2? Thank you, JK, for subbing to Totem Pole Nation and Lambeau's World of Sports. So I think I got them so far at 2-2. A W over loss over the Seahawks. A W over the Steelers. A loss over the Bucs. A loss over the 2-3. 2-3. Chargers and Broncos. That's an L. 2-4. Broncos and Saints. That's probably a Thursday night game. That is going to be maybe a W. Sean Payton is back. Revenge. That's 3-4. Have 10 days off. They play the Panthers. That's a W. They have the Broncos. They have the Ravens. That's an L. They have the Chiefs. An L. The Falcons. A W. The Raiders. W. The Browns. An L. The Colts. A W. The Chargers. An L. The Bengals. An L. And the Chiefs. An L. So let me count how many losses they have. I want to be sure that I'm correct. Loss to the Seahawks is 1, right? Lose to the Bucs is 2. Lose to the Jets is 3. Losing to the Saints is 4. Losing to the Ravens is 5. The Chiefs twice makes it 7. The Chargers twice makes it 9. Oh, 10. The Bengals. So I am predicting with this roster and these quarterbacks in that tough AFC West, the Denver Broncos are going 7-10. Look at the schedule. Look at your last 3 games of the season. At the Chargers, at the Bengals, at home against the Chiefs. Let me say it again. At the Chargers, at Denver. Excuse me, at Cincinnati. Do they give Sean Payton 1 more year? You paid the man. He's one of the highest paid coaches of all time. Do you give him 1 more year? We'll figure that out. Is it Broncos country? Is it let's ride? Or are you Denver Bronco fans going to be very, very, very disappointed? You had a great draft, but that AFC West is tough. And I see y'all being third or last in the division. Don't forget, it's Lambeau's Water Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. At the end of the day, Totem Pole Nation is the best. We will be back later for the live watch party of Game 2. Ant Edwards versus Luka Doncic and Kyrie. Game 2 of the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Dallas Mavericks. Y'all have a great day. Please take care. Totem Pole rocks.